Oh, okay. Okay, well, we need the feed here. Let's see. I'll draw it. It's a dog and he's running. Okay. Mm. Hey. Hey. Used to have 0. Okay. Video. Video. One more time. I can watch these all day. I'll make you guys watch it. Oh. It took me an hour to get rid of all the hair for this morning. Okay, so I've got a husky, I have fish, and okay, all right, all right. Okay, and so this is the husky, and he ran away 8 times when he was a puppy. They run. This is if you have huskies, you know what I'm talking about. They love running. He's so happy. The shelter knew him by name. They knew everything about him by the end of it, and and so he ran away a bunch, and we also moved a lot. Did you know that the average person has 11.5 addresses in their lifetime, and they change phone numbers every 3.5 years? And so we moved a few times since I got them. Every time we moved, we had to get a new pet ID tag. Also, because his name is hexadecimal, that has some constraints to the tag that we can get. So I needed to get like a large tag, so something like this wouldn't work in this font. And then every time we moved, we had to give all this new information to our vet. I printed out a binder of their info, and we would give that to the vet, and it was just really confusing and expensive to get new tags all the time. And so that's why I invented pet pages. Pages is a pet tag for your pet that is simple to update. I'm going to pass some samples around to everybody here. You can take a look. It's a QR code that is etched into, hope I don't set off the speaker. It's etched into a piece of metal, and it can be scanned with any phone. So anyone with a smartphone is able to scan this QR code, and it goes to your pet's pages. There's no app to download, it just goes to the page, and that solves the problem of having to get new tag every few years. And what if you change the info and you have to, it's a pain. So now I'm gonna, oh, this is the demo for it. Yeah, so the page automatically syncs to your tag. Essentially, the QR code links to your pet's unique page. Go to the next slide here. Oh, on these? Yeah. Is it not catching it? Oh. There is some improvements that will be made in V2 that I'm aware of. So I'm going to share a demo here. So here's a demo of the product. You can update the page. You can input all of your pet's info, and then you get to decide what's on the page. So here we've got photos, we have breed, their microchip number, rabies tag number, and then this is what the page looks like. And this is with everything, all of the data fields, but you can edit what's on the page. Actually, some people don't like to display their pet's name, or they don't want to display their address, or whatever it is. Maybe you change your mind and you want to display something else. So you can adjust it as needed, and then it updates instantly. So we're just looking at a demo of that. Yeah, yeah. Probably 64-bit, I would say. And then you can also create custom pages. So another problem that we were running into was with the pet sitter. I use Rover or anyone that I can find that's good, and I print out this um, sheet of paper that has all of the pet info, feeding times, and what to feed them, and all that. And I was giving them this paper, and then I was crossing it out and updating info all the time, and it was a lot for the pet sitter. And so this allows you to create these custom pages for those custom use cases and just share the link with them. Next slide. Okay. I think this is the last feature that I have to share. Okay, so another feature that's part of Pet Pages is Nick, the helpful chat dog. I'm part of some groups on Facebook where they're for pet owners, and we see these kinds of questions all the time, like what food brand are you feeding? I just go on any day and I can find these. Like people want, people have specific information that they're looking for, questions about things. So like this one is, what food brand are you husky owners using? Curious what your vets are recommending. We've been on Purina. This one is another a food question. And then here's callers, what leads callers are recommended. And so that's why I made Nick the helpful chat dog. This was my golden retriever Nick, and he loved to play fetch. And so this is it. So it's a artificial digital help dog, and ask me anything and I'll do my best to fetch the answer for you, and I'm also very clear that the responses may be wrong. So this is essentially a chat interface where you can, it's unmonitored, but it uses an online model that is looking at live websites for information in addition to data sets that are not live. And then it will provide you with whatever it fetches from that, from the query. So here we're asking what kind of pet food, and then this one is a demo of the chat, but also integrated with products that are filtered by best-selling and with a high star rating from Amazon. So based on your search query, it scrapes Amazon and then does this. It only works in local because Amazon doesn't, they will rate limit me and shut it down. So I can't run it on production, but it works on local. So that's this one. Okay, so tech stack. This will be part of when I ask for everyone's questions. I'm good at the development and the design and the product, so I'm gonna have a tech stack slide that just shows like my back end platforms that I'm using. These are all scalable technologies, so if I had 10,000 customers today, it would work and be able to support and scale that. Of course, it would cost me more money at the end of the month. I would get a bill for it, but it would work for that. And then the front end is just some components there. Okay, so that's I think that's everything. Yeah, so that's Pet Pages.
What's the financial model?
Could you say it a different way? I sell them. Oh, okay. Yeah. So the tags are $12.99, and then it's $9.99 per year, or $49.99 lifetime.
Good. Might want to put that.
Yeah. I should have that. I forgot.
Okay. Oh, no problem. So it's kind of, I'm amazed actually you're the presenter today, because I've been working with somebody on NFC type review system. And it was suggested to me that maybe we should get into something like this, like pet pages. But the thing I wanted to suggest to you is, why was I working on an NFC based review system? Both Android and iPhones can, from an NFC code, if you just tap it, can trigger a no install small app to run. So, there wouldn't be this QFC code problem. It just like, boop, bam, it's fast. The whole point of these no install apps is super fast startup. And then if you want to have extra fun, like for pet pages, that instant app be probably small, quick to write, give you the pet page link, but it can also install a full app, both of them, if you want it. Like you want the full app, you can click and then a real install can happen. So you could have a lot of fun with that.
That's a really great idea. Thank you.
And I've actually already, since I've been working on it for a while, I already have some back end and front end. So if you want to talk about it and perhaps collaborate, I don't know, because there is some overlap.
I'd love to learn more about it. Thank you. Currently, it's a PWA website. So if it, I'll show you what it looks like on my phone. It just means that it looks like a native app on the phone. It's a PWA, but there is no additional install for iOS, and the reason is because they take a 30% cut of sales through the App Store. So it's a lot, and they claim that it's better performance, but mine's really fast. So I don't know. I would have to like weigh the pros and cons.
So I actually was going to say similar about the NFCs. I've seen, I'll say more than a handful of businesses that do these QR codes. Terrible. They're absolutely terrible for customer satisfaction. And I mean, as the gentleman said up front, when you handed it to them, they don't work. Trying to etch the QR codes into metal surfaces, they don't last very long. So the idea that you'll be able to keep this tag for a long time, you're not actually solving your problem. You're giving a prettier way, but they're still going to have to replace it because of the metal.
Yeah.
So then on that side, what does it look like to either use a higher quality metal or to add the NFC and the QR code in the same space?
Yeah. You guys we're tracking on the same wavelength with it, because right now the QR codes that you see, I'm very limited with what I can select. It's not me that's making them, and I get a very thin piece of metal. So getting a fiber optic laser, being able to etch deeper into a thicker piece of metal will solve the longevity problem partly. And then version 2 is going to have a shorter UR code, which means more bits, a shorter URL, which means less bits in the QR code, meaning it's like, if you look at the little tag, it's got all these little dots on it. The new URL will have less than a third of those dots, so it'll be easier and quicker to scan, which will be easier, to scan. But the NFC is definitely something that I plan on adding, because it is really fast, and you don't even have to aim it. If I had my husky in here and we did a demo, he would be jumping all around, and it would be so hard to scan while he has the collar on. And so I'm imagining you just find this dog, and you don't know them at all, and they're really excited, and they're jumping around. So I think the NFC is a really great idea.
I think this is a great idea. I'm excited to see where it goes. And I'm curious, two things. Originally, I was going to ask, how does that $75 or so, for a lifetime stack up with a couple of different typical
Competitor
tags? Yeah. The further question is, how much information is this just for the vet, or does this cover some sort of licensing also? And when say I bump into the dog and I pull up its tag, am I going to get a lot of information about the dog immediately? I'd love to know how it really works there.
Yeah. So I have live, which I was cautioned not to do live demos, and we all know the demo curse. Oh, no. I'm going to get a lot of text messages. Oh, that's another feature. Okay, let's do view tag. Okay, everyone scan this, and then I'm going to get a bunch of texts and emails saying that my dog is lost. but I want to show you guys that. And then I'm going to show you the updating info. Yeah, it's linked. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so that is gonna. Okay, so let's see. So you can edit what's on the page. So I'm just gonna turn some stuff off, and it'll just update. So like if you don't want to have all this stuff on the page, it just you can select and change it, and then yeah. I don't know why I'm not getting any text.
So there's a lot of details on it, Chris, is what he's saying.
Oh, I turned off
Like
my
their feeding schedules and
notifications.
stuff, but it's all customizable to you. So can you have one per page, like a public facing one and then like a dog sitter one? Is this an online one or a Jake one?
Just,
Jake one, hold
just
on.
to show you guys, I am getting a bunch of text, but I turned off for messages for the demo. Anyway, it links to the Google Maps location. So if you said yes, and it's only when you're on the site when I'm getting your GPS coordinates. It's not forever, just when you're on the site. But it's telling me that you're here, basically. Okay.
So I was just curious, you've got your QR code on one side. Why not just flip it to the other side and have a short code that's a website
Yeah.
and somebody can type in?
Yeah. It could be the new URL is 13 characters, so it could fit. Yeah, and then this size right now is just one size because I want it to work for cats and bunnies and birds and any pet. So I made it really, really small, but it could fit.
On the hardware, was there a reason why you went with like the clasping mechanisms that you did? Because my dog likes to roll around on the couch and that thing would come off in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Oh, the little trigger.
Like instead of like a screw onto the like a chain that stays on permanently.
Oh. Oh wait, can you describe the chain?
So like any key ring, like that's how I have
yeah.
my tags on for
Yeah.
my dog, because when she rolls around on the couch, she would literally like trigger that clasp somehow. I don't know how, but
Yeah.
like I know the way my dog rolls around.
Yeah.
And then that comes off and then it's lost in the house because it's so
Yeah.
small.
Yeah.
And so is there a reason that you went with that route?
Well, first I did it because I actually saw, like on mine, I solder them shut so they can't come off. But I'll offer basically whatever users tell me they want, because it's a code that I could put on anything, and there's like a bunch of different ways to style it and display it, and yeah.
So you said any pets. So I have a koi pond. So what do you got for my koi?
Oh, we should talk. I have a goldfish that I think is a koi, but I don't think it'll work underwater. Well, I was thinking about that too. Like, what if? Because that's the thing with the microchip, is it's embedded, but what if this code could be like tattooed in some way? I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, I have a few questions.
Yeah.
I got a few questions. So, first, you have a lot of skill sets with technology in the back end, so good job with that.
Thank you.
Secondly, how many customers have you asked about this specific circumstance? And then what has been your response primarily through your customer engagement?
Yeah. So my least skill is sales and marketing. Like I'm a designer, I'm a developer, and then I've asked my personal network.
Okay,
So right
personal
now,
network.
personal and just people that I know who are like really, really interested in it and getting feedback like from them. But yeah.
So let's run a scenario. Dog is gone basically, and then somebody picks up the dog, scans it. What is the most important information that they need to receive so then they can, in essence, make their decision? And what I'm thinking about is because in the past it's been a phone number direct to the owner to get the dog back to the owner. Solves a problem, right?
Mhm.
So now we have a lot more technology that you've increased, and I'm just looking at, not to say that it isn't valid, because what you have is valid. I'm just trying to figure out the advancement of the information that then would prompt me to action as a user, that would then see, you know, the object, which is a pet, and then prompt me to action. So what is my, why do I need this? You know, that's
as
my
a
question.
pet, as a pet owner.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying? Oh, do you have pets?
I do, yeah. A little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one of the problems is that the information on the tag may be out of date. And so by having a tag that's perennial, you can make sure that that information is always up to date. Yeah. So if you're never changing the info, then it might be it'll be accurate. Yeah. But it also pings the owner your location when you scan it too, so you can kind of know where they are.
I think it's a really cool idea. Good job. Was curious on the long-term vision, or like pre-existing systems that keep track of animals' information. Like, could this compete? Could you have this adopted at vets? Have you looked into the ability to have the vaccination records, updated somehow through this portal?
Yeah. One a feature that I'm considering, and I still need to hear from people about exactly what they need, but a way for you to scan all of your pet's documents, and it goes into the system time-stamped, and then you can generate a single PDF and then email that to your vet, and then they can get like all of your records. So I need to hear from both sides, though. I need to know, what does the vet want to see like exactly, and then what does the user want to see exactly, and how do they want to do that? But yeah, absolutely looking into that. Yeah. The question was with Home Again, how does it compare? Home Again is $20 per year, so mine's half yearly cost. Home Again doesn't have a mobile experience. It's all web-based, and I collect much more data than them, but I'm sure they could also roll that out. But they might not be updating it as frequently. I will say there is one other player that's competitive. I wouldn't say it's not Home Again. I mean, they exist and they're like competitive in the sense that they have a lot of users, but from a feature set standpoint, they're lacking in some.
So a little bit of feedback. The tech part of this is super interesting, but one pivot that you might consider is being agnostic to whatever the input is. So it's great QR code or NFC or whatever, but actually having an interface which allows people to use whatever kind of input device. So they've got an Apple AirTag or whatever the Android version of that is, because a big dog, they can just stick an AirTag on it. So if the pages are the valuable part, and if you create a way for people to easily link in whatever kind of tech that they're using, and then you offer your own, that's fine. You get QR codes or NFC, but people will sort out the tech part of this. You will create a market for people sort of solving the problems for the individual animal types and things. But if you own the landing for all that information, regardless of how it gets in there, and you have the interface to do that, to me, that's the easily scalable and valuable part.
Very interesting idea with the Apple AirTags. I haven't looked into how that might work, but there might be a way. I know there is a way to get it on Mac desktop. I don't know if it's restricted to Apple environment. I'll have to look into that. No? Okay. Well, then I'll just take it. Yeah. If they provide it. Yeah. Yeah, I'll take their data if it's open.
You mentioned earlier that when someone scans the QR code on the pet, you can see on your end the location.
Yeah.
Okay, is that continuously being monitored?
No,
Or-
it's just when you visit the page, and if you were to refresh the page, then it's going to send it again. So every time you refresh the page, there's a function in the page's code that says get latitude longitude from the browser, and send it to my servers.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there a way I can like disable that so that you don't see it?
Well, when you visit the page for the first time, you have to agree. So
Oh.
if you didn't see the pop-up or you didn't agree, then I don't see it.
I see. So there is like an opt-in for that.
Yes,
to
and
work.
that's controlled by the browser, so it's safe. Or I can't really access it.
Can you see like the scanner's like phone number or?
No, just from I only get browser information. So all I
Oh.
know is from what's called the user agent.
I see.
So your browser has like metadata embedded in it, and it says like your device type, which may or may not be reliable, and then it says like your GPS coordinates from wherever your phone sent data to the server to get you data. So if you're using a VPN, it's going to tell me that you're halfway around the world.
I see.
If you're not using a VPN, it'll say you're here.
Okay. So if it was like a dog kidnapper or something like that,
Mm.
you wouldn't be able to find that person after the first.
Depends how dumb they are.
Yeah.
I think. Mostly.
Well, yeah.
So using the VPN and
Exactly.
sophisticated, they're in
But
Russia.
if I'm using AirTag and there's a competitor that doesn't have a strong digital offering, but they do offer some sort of AirTag thing, and I just haven't figured out how they do that yet. But I could do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the AirTag technology, if you can get to that point, has more value because as a pet owner, I don't have to sit and wait for somebody to scan that or to call me. I will instantly know where my pet is if it goes outside of a certain range. For instance, I get notified every time I leave my neighborhood that my luggage is still at my house. And that to me is valuable.
Yeah.
Because now you know where your dog is and you can find it instead of just sitting waiting and putting up posters of lost my dog. So
Thank you.
Yeah, great point. Okay, well, last question with Christina.
Oh, unlimited questions, right? Because it's just me.
Well, we're a few minutes over, so.
Oh, okay.
So in terms of marketing and promo, I think it may be a good idea to pitch to some animal organizations, nonprofit animal organizations, perhaps some pet food organizations, to see if they can assist you in making those upgrades while also helping you market and promote that, which will, of course, you'll have to give up some percentage, but you have to be open to that to receive the funding. Just a
Yeah,
thought.
great idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tagging along on that, you could talk to pet adoption companies, and then work it where they are including that into the adoption fee.
I don't have if I had a finance slide, I did some calculation on if I were to give all puppies a free tag, what's the likelihood that they get a second pet in their home? And then I calculated my acquisition cost and my lifetime value, and it's pretty favorable, even if I'm giving them away for free because of the costs. And I would love to do something like that. Like all pets that need to be adopted just get, a free tag if that helps them get adopted. I think that would be great.
So I get next to the last question. So you were talking, someone mentioned vaccines and stuff. I think one of the other key features could be if you're traveling abroad with a pet, one of the key reasons why your pet will be quarantined is because they don't have access to those shot records or medical records.
Oh.
So if you're an international traveler with a pet, it is key to have updated information because your pet's going to get quarantined if they don't have access at entry points.
I didn't know that at all.
Like
That's
Hawaii is a big one. 30-day mandatory unless you follow a certain set. But if you follow the certain set, it's like a chain of custody problem. But once you do, it's like, oh, it's good to go. So
Well, they would get
they
it
spend
right
a lot of
away
money
then.
trying to get that dealt with, I think.
That's cool.
Yeah. So you could
Thank you.
have the Hawaii simplification revenue model and potentially build off that for sure. Great questions. I think a few people still had more. So if you did have more, Zach, switching it up, can stick around hopefully. But I thought some great feedback. So everybody, thanks for chiming in and very interesting. I think Phil made a good point that I agree with, which is the pet pages part is the valuable part, and the technology will come and go. So well done. I think that's really cool what you've done and how instant it is, and all sorts of cool features. So well done. You get one of these magic mugs for the new folks. What I like to say is these things are magical because they're made out of stainless steel and vacuum sealed and keep hot things hot and cold things cold, which is magical by themselves. But more importantly, as an entrepreneur, asking for help is sometimes the hardest thing to do. So with your mug, you also get the chance to ask a question or for some help from our community. So what can our community do that would help Zachary or Pet Pages?
Well, you've already provided me with so much help. I would, as sales and marketing is my least thing, I would just say, I would ask, just tell me where I can put this out in front of people and how I can and get the word out to people.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I drive past the Humane Society billboard where they're adopting people, and they have a whole billboard. So they're super friendly. I would stop in there for sure. And then maybe other people have ideas. But let's give Zach a big round of applause. Well done. Thanks for doing that. Happy Valentine's Day. Thanks for being here on Wednesday. Thanks to Anthony and the Underbelly team for having us. Do me a favor, clean up after yourself. Stack a black chair so there's more